gotta be an idiot to bet on that parlay.
It's DTF or bust.
Put it on my mama's porch tomorrow. Welcome back to Hold My Bev podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Park. Here with me, as always, the one, the only DTF, aka Dylan Fields. Dylan, how's it going?
It's going. It's Selection Sunday. Lots of crazy basketball this weekend. But most importantly, we are here.
We are here. That is true. The brackets have officially been made, especially with our first four, which it looks like we're gonna have some pretty good matchups in the first four. But I think we'll get into Selection Sunday a little bit later in the episode. I think we should just go over these NFL free agency moves since our last episode. We did an episode a couple days ago on the first couple days or the first day of free agency, and things have just gotten crazier since then. Such as things as Aaron Donald retiring from the NFL, which, by the way, did you see this one coming?
Yes and no. He's been talking about it for a little while, but ultimately he was only in the league for 10 years, so I thought he had a little bit more in the tank.
Yeah, 100%. I wasn't super surprised, but at the same time, with them playing as good as they did last year, I figured he might just play one more year, if anything. I knew his days were coming soon, just because he had even hinted at it back when he had just turned 30. He's only 32 years old right now. Still in amazing shape. He's benching what, like 525, like repping it.
hmm
Um, so I was a little bit surprised that he decided till now to do it, but I guess that's better than pulling in Andrew Luck and doing it right before the what was it, the season opener?
It was like right before the season.
Yeah, it was oh, it was because he was at the game when he announced it.
hmm
It was at what, a preseason game in Indianapolis?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think anything's better than that. So I remember I drafted him in fantasy. I'm like, he's he's retired.
Out of nowhere,
Yeah, just like Palpatine returned
somehow.
somehow. Um, but Aaron Donald will go down as one of the greatest NFL defensive players and one of the best players ever, even being only a one-time champion. Um, Undoubtedly was one of the most dominant players on the field that, at least in mine and yours time, that we can
Yeah,
think of.
for sure.
Um, we also we talked about it on last episode that Aaron Jones was leaning towards signing with the Vikings, and he pulled a Green Bay Packers thing and went ahead and signed a 1-year deal for $7 million with the Vikings. Uh, Vikings, I'm not gonna lie, they're a couple pieces away. Even with losing Kirk Cousins and Danielle Hunter, which we'll get into later in this episode on where he went. Um, I don't think they have that bad of a squad. I'm not gonna say that they're gonna compete with the Detroit Lions or anything, but it could have ended up being way worse, and it looked like it was gonna be a complete rebuild at
They're
one.
at least a 500. They're at least a 500 team.
Yeah, because Sam Darnold is going to be the quarterback this year, but it looks like they're going to be drafting a quarterback as well.
hmm
Because they just traded up back into the first round, so now they have two first round picks in this year's draft. With it being, I think it's 11 and 23 now. They traded with the Texans.
Yeah, which the Texans do not need a pick. They look like they're locked and loaded.
Oh, they're super loaded now. They added a ton of big pieces. Whether they're on the older side or not. I mean, in my opinion, a 27-year-old running back is still not that old.
hmm
You're just getting the last years of the prime, if anything. Um, but our Browns made some interesting moves, if you ask me. Nothing bad, but um, just didn't think it was actually going to go here. The Browns decided to bring in Jameis Winston, and actually earlier today decided to also bring in Tyler Huntley.
Yeah,
Um,
I still haven't seen that pop up on my feed, which is really weird. I was looking for it all day.
yeah, he's locked in for I think only a 1 year deal with the Browns.
Okay.
Um, Same with Jameis, both 1 year contracts. Um, I just think that's a little concerning that they wanted to bring in two quarterbacks, but I guess after, what we went through this year, uh, I can't say I blame them.
Mm-hmm.
We got lucky that we got Joe Flacco and he came in and played amazing for us. Uh, but I don't like that it makes it feel like we're giving up on DTR already. I thought that, he showed some flashes of being good. I don't count that Ravens game that he played because um DTR was what, a sixth round pick?
Yes.
Sixth round rookie quarterback. You tell him 30 minutes before the game, hey, you're starting your first NFL game today without any first team reps before. I I wasn't really too big of a fan of that, but I don't know. That's just my opinion. I don't count that Ravens game and everything other than that. I mean, he wasn't going to come out here and play like Patrick Mahomes his first start or second start. And I don't think anyone expected
Mm-hmm.
that of him. But I also saw enough that I wanted to, give him another shot if it comes down to it. I'm perfectly fine with him being the third string quarterback. But now as long as we're keeping him on the roster, if it's just practice squad for right now or what it may be, um, he at least has some good mentors that have been around the league for a while and winning football. Um, Whether you want to call Jameis Winston winning football or not, but I mean, he has a
Yeah.
season single. I don't think it was touchdown. Was it touchdown or was it just yards?
Yards.
That's what I thought. I know he had interceptions, but.
Yeah. He had a lot of interceptions.
Yeah, my dad, for whatever reason, must love Jameis Winston. I never realized this because my dad was so excited for this move.
Well, you know who loves Jameis Winston? Jason the Lad Buyer.
I felt like he always told me that he liked Jameis Winston.
Well, he's an FSU fan,
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
so he's always been about Jameis. But now that he lives in Columbus, he says he's got a ride for the Buckeyes.
Oh, so he is going to be an official Ohio State fan.
He said he has to. He lives there now.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think you can really live in Columbus and not be a Buckeyes fan. That's all that city's about.
Yep. Yes, they are. We
Yeah.
just saw him yesterday. It was a good visit.
Is the lad good?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
He's killing it.
You enjoying it down there? We'll have to have him on soon once he gets
Yeah.
his bearings set down.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but speaking of the Texans, like I said, they brought in Danielle Hunter and Joe Mixon, who was supposed to be released by the Bengals, but then out of nowhere, Texans are like, "We'll give you a seventh round pick for him." Bam, there you go. The Bengals somehow managed to win over the Titans, who got absolutely nothing for Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Um, Texans are going to be a scary team, man.
Oh,
Scary, scary
1000%.
team.
I'm already looking at the numbers. As of this morning, I'm doing a three-team divisional winners parlay, and the Texans are going to be one of them for me. But Texans are going to be nasty.
Yeah, Texans are going to be nasty, for sure.
If
Um,
you play it safe and pick the Lions and the Chiefs and add one team like the Texans, the odds are like +8 something. So $100 basically wins you $1,000.
do you think the Lions is going to be a safe bet though?
I hope so. I'm hoping that
I do
the
too.
Bears, I'm hoping that the Bears and the Packers aren't going to live up to their hype.
Yeah. I think the
Although I
Packers are
want
the
the Bears to
division.
succeed.
You want the Bears what? To redeem you?
No, I mean like although I want the Bears to succeed, I still think it's the Lions division to lose.
Yeah, I think it's 100%. I would agree with you. It's their division to lose. Um, but their division did improve immensely this offseason so
Oh,
far.
oh yeah.
Curious to see how this draft is going to play out next month and who's going to be wearing what uniform this season.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the Browns also did bring in Naeem Hines. He is a super good gadget player, very fast. He did have a jet ski incident that took him out last season. So let's keep him off Lake Erie, boys.
My biggest thing about this is you bring in this gadget player, and what happened to Jakeem Grant? Did we release him?
And no, he's still on the roster.
That's what I'm saying. So like we've had this dude in the roster for 2 or 3 years now, and he's not played a single snap.
No, because he gets hurt at training camp every year.
Yeah. And he's supposed to be this type of gadget player, but I know he's more of a wide receiver than running back. Like Hines will fill a position. Um, you just hope this guy stays healthy and we can actually use him because we just are wasting spots in the roster for guys like Grant.
Yeah. In all honesty, I don't want to say that I hated this move. Um, I just wish we would have gone out and got a slightly better running back because Ford's not going to cut it, especially if we don't get Chubb week one. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
we need a better running mate with Chubb than Jerome Ford. Um, he's a solid running back, but he's just not enough to get you over the edge. I would have even been fine taking a flyer on Alexander Madison and letting him and Ford battle it out for running back number two.
Okay.
Someone on that, my point is like someone on that caliber, I would have been a little bit more happy with bringing in.
Yeah, I wasn't happy about this at all.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say that I was mad about it, but I'm not thrilled about it either. I'm not jumping out of my seat like, oh, we got Naheem Hines. No. Um. Oh, I guess we didn't talk about Derrick Henry. I guess that was day two. Derrick Henry did sign with the Baltimore Ravens.
Which we called.
Cowboys strike out once again. This offseason has probably been the worst offseason for a Cowboys fan, but they'll win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but the turnaround is
I'd say.
yes, it's been a horrible offseason, but in their eyes, they're confident with the roster they have.
Yeah, that is
But
true.
they did lose Pollard, which is a big piece of their offense. So
Yeah.
are they just going to trust in the draft process? I mean, I don't think Deuce Vaughn is going to cut it as RB1.
No, not me either. Or is it Roscoe? Is his name?
I was
Doolittle?
just I was just going to look it up because I forget
Um,
his name as well.
yeah, because they ended up losing Tyron Smith too, their left tackle. He
Yeah,
ended up signing with the Jets, which honestly surprised me. I really thought that they were going to go after Bakhtiari.
Rico Dowdle.
Yeah, Rico. I don't know why I thought it was Roscoe, but
Yeah, and the Cowboys offense, I mean, their offense looks pretty good. Like I wouldn't be so scared.
yeah,
Oh,
I mean, it looks good, but I don't know. I don't have a great feeling about this Cowboys team, and I think that they've just been sitting back, especially with Jerry Jones saying we're going all in this season or this off
right.
season. This isn't,
All in my ass.
yeah,
All in, comma, my
my
ass.
ass. There you go. Yeah, yeah. Skip Bayless had a debatable tweet the other night.
Hmm.
Um, But speaking on the Cowboys, now there's a police investigation on Dak Prescott for sexual assault. This is an incident from 2017. Um, do we think that anything's going to happen with this? If so, is he going to get the Deshaun Watson treatment?
If this goes any further, he will definitely get the Deshaun Watson treatment.
Yeah, I think it's as of right now, it's sounding sort of like, the beginning of the Deshaun Watson treatment when he was still on the Texans. Not saying that I think Dak Prescott's going to get traded or anything, but
Mm-hmm.
um, once news starts to pick up and, there's, courts getting involved, then the problems are going to come.
Yeah.
Patrick Queen decided to leave the Baltimore Ravens. I thought that I had heard that he was like a surefire Seattle Seahawk, but it sounds like he's going to be signing, unfortunately, with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say it, Pittsburgh has done very well this offseason.
You think?
Yeah, I mean, nothing crazy, but they're at least addressing some needs and they're for once going out and spending some money. Someone
Yeah.
like Patrick Queen, I mean, that's awesome to have with TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith.
But it just kills me that our quarterback room is a combined salary of 4.5 million and ours is like over 68 million this year.
Yeah, and it's highway robbery. I mean, Justin Fields is now a part of their team. They traded Kenny Pickett to the Eagles. They got more for Kenny Pickett than they traded for Justin Fields. And that just
Makes
blows
no
my mind
sense.
because Justin Fields is way, way better than Kenny Pickett. And I don't think anyone would debate that. Um,
Yeah.
and even though
I,
Justin Fields is on the last year of his contract, say Russ doesn't play that well this year for the Steelers, go ahead and try your chances with Justin Fields. I bet that he'll play better. I
mm,
will say I'm slightly concerned, even though I thought this was inevitable this offseason. The Steelers did trade Deontay Johnson, the Toledo legend, to the Carolina Panthers. So Bryce Young officially has
a
uh,
wide receiver.
a wide receiver at least. And in return, the Steelers got Dante Jackson, who's always been sort of a respectable cornerback in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one department that they are starting to build up with, your Joey Porter Juniors. But it's someone that can at least be on the corner with him, with Patrick Peterson not being on the team anymore.
Yeah.
Which did you see Patrick Peterson on Good Morning Football?
No.
Team he said he was most excited to watch this season was the Browns.
Oh, interesting.
In all honesty, though, I think it was just out of pettiness because he was saying, I love what Steve has done there, and I have no clue who Steve is.
At the Browns?
Yeah.
Hmm.
He's like, yeah, I really love what Steve has done with this Browns team.
Unless you meant Stefanski.
That was my guess. That's my only guess on who he was talking about. And his
Hmm.
name's Kevin.
Weird.
Kevin, Steve, basic names.
Did you happen to see OBJ's post on Instagram about him leaving Baltimore?
I did not peep it. I knew that they were releasing him, but
So he had this long ass paragraph just basically saying like, wish I could have done more. And to the city of Baltimore, I fuck with you forever. And if you look at the comments, David and Joku commented in all caps, "Go Browns."
really,
Yeah.
I love David Njoku now. When he was first on our team, I wasn't too big on him.
Really?
I was excited for him, don't get me wrong, but I thought his hands were pretty bad in the beginning. I thought he dropped a lot of easy catches, but he was super athletic and it just seemed like he didn't know how to use, I don't want to say didn't know how to use it on the football field because I don't want to make it sound like I thought he was bad or anything. Um, I just saw the potential and knew he could be better. And He's here now. He's arrived.
Yeah. Did you happen to see about an hour ago the Steelers are hosting Mike Williams for a visit?
Of course they are.
Yeah.
Of course they are.
I'm just like at this point, I think that this year is going to be my first year, probably. How long has it been? It's probably been at least 10 to 15 years where I just genuinely didn't care about the Browns team that I'm going to watch. I mean, I'm still going to be very excited about our Browns when the football season comes around, but I just don't have a lot of expectations for us in the division. I think we might end up in the fourth spot of the division. Deshaun Watson has got to get out of town. I just don't think we're going to have anything with him. I think he is just literally a ball and chain tied to our ankles of an organization.
Yeah, no, 100, I would 100% agree. And this is going to be the make or break for him this season. I'm going to try to go into this season with an open mind, um, because we are locked with him for the next 3 seasons. So I'm going to go into this season open-minded. Last time we saw him on a football field, second half, he went 14 for 14 on passing, and we came back and beat Baltimore.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I
hopefully,
mean
this
if
is
he can play
Deshaun.
like
Hopefully,
that,
that is the Deshaun that comes back this season. Um, because if it's anything else, it's gonna be hell.
we have the tools to be the number one seed, I think, in the entire AFC. I truthfully will stand by it that I think we have the tools. But
Even if we can get an 80% Deshaun Watson of his like original Deshaun Watson from Houston, if we get 80% of that, I think we will be fine.
I think he's just so mentally fucked up. There's no way we're getting back to that.
Yeah, we can only hope, but I don't even know what you do. If he has a bad season, I don't think you can trade him. I know I wouldn't trade for him. I don't think you buy him out either because that's going to be the same situation that Denver's in. And if we're going to do that, I'd rather just gut the whole team. But, we'll get to that when we get to that. Um, Hopefully we won't get to that. And we
I
can
don't
just
want to
ride
get
out the
to that.
contract and be fine. But
Yeah.
um anyways, going off the Browns, um Chauncey Gardner-Johnson has returned to the Philadelphia Eagles after playing last season with the Detroit Lions. I thought this was a huge loss for the Lions because I think that they definitely should have brought him back, even though that they have a very good safety in Brian Branch, who played amazing this year. And then I think they have a free safety. I believe Gardner Johnson played free safety. I'm pretty sure they have a free safety that's pretty solid as well right now, behind him. So, I mean, yeah, take it as it is, but I think that bringing him back for one more season would have been awesome. But the Eagles go ahead and swoop in and pick him up.
Yeah.
They
Eagles are making moves. Eagles made a lot of moves this free agency already.
Yeah, they also picked up Devontae Parker, even though that's not like a huge signing, but um,
Nah.
for a wide receiver three, that's not terrible. That's not terrible. You're not asking a ton out of him, but you just want him to come in, probably 40% of offensive snaps, anywhere from like 30 to 40% of offensive snaps a game. It's all you're really going to be asking for him as long as Smith and Brown stay healthy. Um, So that's a team that I'm very curious on how they're going to play this year because I don't know why I have a gut feeling they're not going to be that good this year.
Yeah.
Even with all the moves that they made, I don't know. I pray that we can beat them in week 1 because I
In
think that
Brazil.
win or loss, that game in general is going to set a tone for the season.
We're gonna play them in Brazil.
I think that's so dumb, but I'm just glad that it doesn't count as a home game for us.
No, it'd be an away game, but
Yep.
mm-hmm.
That doesn't take away a game from Cleveland.
Right.
Um, Jordan Poyer went ahead and signed with the division rival Miami Dolphins. I've noticed that pretty much everyone that's been cut from their team has joined a division rival
Yeah,
for the
that's the
most
trend
part.
this offseason.
Yeah. Um, so that's going to be awesome for the Dolphins. Xavier Howard's still in the market. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up going back to the Dolphins on a cheaper deal.
Hmm.
Um, just because he's been with that organization forever, and I haven't heard anyone trying to bring him in for an interview or anything. Um, Joe Flacco decided to sign with the Indianapolis Colts.
This tore me up. This
That one
tore me up.
hurt bad.
It tore me up.
Yeah, that one hurt me really bad.
I
Um,
can't believe I can't believe he's let him walk away.
yeah, it didn't even give him an
Obviously,
offer.
no, obviously there's something internal there. Like Deshaun was threatened by him, or the organization didn't want to hear we want Flacco in the stands when Deshaun throws an interception,
A
or
100% what it was.
this isn't about Joe Flacco being the right person. This is about we fucked up. We paid Deshaun all this money. He is our quarterback, and we can't have the people turning on us.
Right, right. And it's 100% what it is. Joe Flacco actually still has a couple of events that he's doing here in Cleveland. I guess before he goes to Indianapolis. I know he's having something at Top Golf on Tuesday. And then he's having some fan meet and greet in Hartville, which is down towards like Akron. Um, so I know that he wanted to really stay in Cleveland and planned on staying in Cleveland, but doesn't
He'll
always
love
work.
Indy though. Indy's great.
Yeah, yeah, no, Indy will love him. And I think that he's a good mentor for Anthony Richardson, even though they play very different styles of football. You get an offensive minded guru like Shane Steichen as your quarterback, or not quarterback, but head coach. Um, he showed that he can work with anything,
Did
especially
you?
getting Gardner Minshew almost to the playoffs as your starting quarterback for the whole season. That
Right.
alone showed a lot.
Well, that's what's going to be great about having Joe is if you're already concerned about Richardson's health going into the first 3, 4 weeks last year where he was injured every week. I mean, Joe is a good dude to come off the couch to come fill in.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They also re-signed Kenny Moore, which is huge for them. Um, as you talked about, Mike Williams was released by the Chargers. I saw that when I got off the golf course on Monday. Um, I was surprised that the Chargers decided to restructure Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa, but then decide to trade Keenan Allen for a fourth round pick. Out of any
Yeah,
of those four players, that would have been the
which
player
means
I would
that
have for
Quentin
sure
Johnson is there. What?
separated.
Mhm. So Quentin Johnson's their number one wide receiver right now.
Or Joshua Palmer. Joshua Palmer is still pretty good.
True. True.
Yeah, no, Joshua Palmer's a really good or pretty good wide receiver. Not a wide receiver one, but I wouldn't
Hmm.
mind him being a wide receiver two or three. He's like on the cusp of a two and three, in my opinion. He just can't stay healthy. Um,
Well, something tells me with the Chargers' fifth pick, if he's available, which I don't see him being available, Marvin Harrison Jr. is a Charger.
yeah, I would say
If
it's
he's not a Cardinal, he's a Charger.
yeah, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it was Malik Neighbors either. I mean, he's really starting to get there neck and neck with Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't think it's really that close, but Malik Neighbors is a very good talent, and I could
If
see
you look,
Harbaugh jumping off the board to go get him
if you
over
look,
getting Joe Alt.
yeah, if you look at the overall rankings of all players in the draft, Marvin Harrison's number one, and it's crazy that he's even going to fall to 4 or 5, all because of quarterback needs.
Yeah, I saw some mock drafts that actually have the Patriots passing on getting a quarterback this upcoming draft. I'm sorry. I think Jacoby's perfect to be like a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see them passing on quarterback. I mean, maybe to get someone as generational as Marvin Harrison Jr., but I I just don't see it happening. I don't see them passing up a chance to go get him unless they are confident they can get one of these quarterbacks in the second round. But I think any quarterback that was originally supposed to go in the second, like a JJ McCarthy or anyone like that, is a surefire first round pick now.
Yeah.
Everyone now has five quarterbacks going in the first round, um, which is crazy. It's been a while since we've needed so many quarterbacks, so many teams that need a quarterback. Um, so I think the Vikings are one of those teams. Commanders are 100% going after a quarterback. That couldn't be any more clear.
Yeah.
Bears are going for Caleb Williams. There's three right there. What was another one that I saw? Broncos. Broncos are going for a quarterback. And then I still don't rule out the Raiders at all, even with
Mm-hmm.
bringing Minshew in. Um, and Aiden O'Connell, I mean, in all honesty, I think he outplayed expectations.
Who did I just see Garoppolo sign with?
The Rams,
Oh yeah, that's interesting.
yeah, he'll go back up Matt Stafford.
Yeah.
Um, but what's nice is with McVay, I mean, we saw it with Jared Goff for a few years. He doesn't need anyone super talented, but if he has someone like Stafford, it's a million times better. But he can get
Mm-hmm.
by with someone like a Jimmy G, I think.
Yeah. So you brought up the Vikings and their quarterback needs. Um, did you follow any of that tampering stuff where there's reports out that Kirk Cousins met with a Falcons trainer before the free agency season started?
I have paid a little bit of attention to it. I don't see really anything happening from it. Maybe they'll lose a pick, but
I don't know. Yeah, I'm reading that an NFL executive said that if he was to have met with the Falcons trainer, they should lose a first round pick, which could be the NFL forcing to give the Vikings Atlanta's first round pick, which would be what, 7 or 8?
they
Yeah, so that right there could help the Vikings get their quarterback if
yeah,
they
that would
don't.
that would be a huge loss for Atlanta too, because I
Oh
think
yeah.
we can go get someone pretty damn good at number 8.
Yeah,
Especially in this
absolutely.
year's draft and next year's draft not being as strong. Because this year's draft, um, I know some people either love it or they hate it. I like this year's draft class. I just think it's very top heavy.
Hmm.
I think your first 3 rounds are you got some players that, can be a part of your franchise for a couple years, and then some of these others are just kind of just throwing darts at a dartboard,
Yeah.
whether they'll even make a practice squad. Calvin Ridley ended up getting a huge payday from the Tennessee Titans, so he's staying within the AFC South. Um, I was a little bit surprised by the Titans.
Yeah, it's weird that they didn't have the money or the want to keep AJ Brown around for that kind of money, but they went and signed Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't quite understand that at all. I think it's a great move for the Titans, don't get me wrong, but um, and definitely will help that fan base recover from um losing Derrick Henry. But Titans honestly have had not too bad of an offseason so far.
Mm-mm.
Nothing crazy, but they made some solid moves.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
they went out, got Tony Pollard to be Derrick Henry's replacement, which if you ask me, I mean, I don't think if you're a Titans fan, you can really ask for too much more than that. I know a lot of people want Spears to take over that RB1 spot, but I think this is a perfect combo of, who's going to end up getting the RB1 reps ultimately. Because it showed last year in Dallas that the Pollard can't be just an RB1. He has to be a split back. So I
Yeah.
think it's going to be pretty 50-50 between him and Spears.
Yeah. No, they've definitely got nice looking weapons on their team. My biggest concern with the Titans is they just need to fill in that offensive line. They need to find the pieces that they're missing to protect Will Levis and to be able to even run the fucking ball. They need a line to block. So
Yeah, they
that's
drafted
gonna be their focus.
yeah, they drafted Skoronski last year. Kind of had a little rough start to the season and ended up moving to, I think they moved him to guard instead of tackle.
Hmm.
He ended up playing a lot better at left guard. It was either left or right guard, I don't remember.
Hmm.
Um, but ended up playing a lot better at guard. I'm curious whether they'll try to move him to tackle again or if they're just going to keep him at guard. Um, Way I look at it, don't fix anything that's not broken. Um,
Right.
you know, if he's more comfortable playing guard, let him play guard. He's young enough
Hmm.
that if that's what he thinks he's more confident in, let him do it. Um, but yeah, if I was a Titans fan, I'd be other than losing Derrick Henry, I'd be pretty happy with the way things have gone because I think everyone knew that Derrick Henry was gone for sure this year. Um,
I
yeah, Bobby Wagner. I actually have a funny tweet that he posted after leaving the Seattle Seahawks once again. He is leaving for the Washington Commanders, which I think was very interesting. Um, and he was talking about how, let me pull up the exact tweet. It was right here. Seattle, we've done this before. You know what it is. It's always love until we meet again. I'm around. And then this Twitter account circling Seattle sports replied to his tweet, "You should never have to pay for a meal in this city again. Always love B-Wags." And he replied, "That'd be cool. I'ma probably still pay though." I just thought that was funny that he just replied to that. That'd be cool.
That's funny.
Like no exclamation, no like expression on it at all. He just said, "That'd be cool."
Hmm.
But I forget what coordinator. Oh, Dan Quinn. I don't know why I was struggling to think of that. Dan Quinn was the defensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks, and it's a big reason on why we thought he was going to be the next Seattle Seahawks head coach, but instead he's in Washington and managed to recruit Bobby over to Washington to play for the Commanders this season.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Um, let's see. Oh, we did get our at least this is the first time I can recall of this. Our first like real player for player trade in the NFL. After the Falcons signed Kirk Cousins, they have traded Desmond Ridder to the Arizona Cardinals for Rondale Moore, which I kind of think is a one-sided trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't quite understand that at all. But I guess
So,
it
so
doesn't
they're
hurt in case Kyler gets hurt and just got his 65 million guaranteed after being on the roster, I believe it was yesterday, so March 15th.
so they are rolling with Kirk Cousins and Taylor Heineke,
Yeah.
which makes sense because it's similar playing styles.
Yeah, similar playing styles and veteran quarterback. The Falcons are now in a win now mode, so um, they're not wanting to pick at number 8 next year.
Yeah. Are
And
they, do you think they're a sure thing for the division?
man, I don't know. Um, I think they're going to go into this season as the favorites. But I don't think they're done making moves either. Um, I could very well see them trading um, their first round pick. Do I think they will? Probably not, but I think it's a possibility. There's some more that could go into this roster. Um, I think that they should beat the Buccaneers. I don't know if they will, though.
Yeah.
I just like that the Buccaneers are coming back basically with the same team they came out with last year. Um, everyone seems like they're happy in Tampa, and
Except
it
Baker's
seems like
paid
every
now.
time, huh?
The only difference is Baker's paid now.
Well, Mike Evans was supposed to leave this offseason.
True.
Yeah, so
So they
they
will
haven't.
retain both of them.
Yeah, and they added, or no, they ended up losing Carlton Davis.
And Devin White.
Yeah, they did lose Devin White. That's right. He ended up signing with the Eagles. Um, I think, but like I said, I think Atlanta should be the favorites. Um, I like that Raheem Morris is the head coach rather than Arthur Smith, who clearly did not like throwing the ball to Kyle Pitts, and yeah, I'm a big fan of that for sure.
Which we saw the controversy of will Kirk Cousins get number 8 or not. And Kyle Pitts said, I'll give it to you as long as you give me targets.
Yeah.
So bet the over on targets.
Yeah, expect Kyle Pitts to have his best season in the NFL this year. DJ Reader, who I know a lot of Browns fans thought we were gonna go get, um, decided to sign with the Detroit Lions. So now they have McNeil and Reader on their defensive line with Aiden Hutchinson and whoever they decide to throw on left end. Um, that was a big signing for them. I think that helps bulk up their D line. I just wish I would have seen more from them going for the cornerback position.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, that was the team that got Carlton Davis from the
The
Buccaneers.
Lions.
Yeah, I want to say
Was
that's
it?
who traded for him.
Let's see. Lions.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So that helps them out a lot. Um, Lions haven't really done a ton this offseason, but they've done some solid moves. So, I hope that they can come back and win the NFC North again this year, but I think that a lot of the other teams in their division, like the Packers and
Mm-hmm.
the Bears, made tremendous moves. Like the Bears have one of the best wide receiver duos in the NFL. I'm not ready to put them number one because, we just don't know who exactly is going to be throwing the ball. We're assuming Caleb Williams, but you just never know anymore. We at one
Could be
point thought CJ
Tyson
Stroud was
Badgett.
going to be the number one pick and ended up being Bryce Young.
Mm-hmm.
So for all we know, it could be Drake May, Jaden Daniels. I think it's Caleb Williams for sure, but um, and I think they make this move knowing that Caleb's not really too big on Chicago, but they're trying to give him a situation where you can't really say no to it because any of the other top three teams don't have even close to a roster like the Bears do. And Bears defense played pretty good last year at the end of the season.
Yeah, and they I think they got even better.
Yeah, and Ryan Poles is, at a point right now where he ended up just taking an absolute loss on Justin Fields. It's make or break this season, or as we say in our intro,
Oh
it's
yeah.
DTF or bust.
It's DTF for bust.
Yeah,
That's just me. I'm always DTF for bust.
yes. Um, let's see. Eric Armstead decided to sign with the Jaguars. Did you see Corey Davis ended up coming out of retirement?
No.
That's like huge news, but. Yeah, he retired last season after he was going to get cut from the Jets, um, and decided to come out of retirement and is now officially released by the Jets. So he is now a unrestricted free agent,
Oh, so he's just hanging out waiting.
just hanging out waiting. He'll probably be on some roster come training camp, but
Yeah.
I don't see him being one of those players that are going to get signed anytime soon. Um, maybe some teams will bring him in for workouts and see what he's still got, after taking
Yeah.
off the whole season. Sam Howell. I loved this trade for the Seahawks. They traded for Sam Howell. Nearly pennies on a dollar, especially after losing Drew Lock to the Giants. Um, I think Sam Howell could be their next quarterback. Say Geno doesn't play that well this year. Um, you know, at the end of the day, you have a young quarterback starting his first NFL season. If your head coach isn't in the season at all, and it was very clear that Ron Rivera was just ready for the season to be over and to be fired, um, that doesn't do a young quarterback any justice at all.
No,
Um,
not even
so,
close.
so I'm excited to see how Sam Howell does in Seattle. Uh, so I'll be rooting for him to get that starting position at some point. Hopefully he'll throw lots of touchdowns to JSN for the
Yep.
foreseeable future. Curtis Samuel is gonna try to replace Gabe Davis, it looks like. The Bills gave him a 3-year, $30 million deal. I don't know how Curtis Samuel keeps getting these kind of deals because I'm not saying that he's bad, but what has he
I mean,
done
that's
so special to get $30 million?
yeah, that blew me away when I saw that he's getting that much money.
Yeah, he just, in my opinion, he hasn't hardly been on the field. But I guess teams are willing to pay him that money, go for it. Why not? I guess. Oh well. AJ Dillon ended up re-signing with the Packers, so it's gonna be a Josh Jacobs, AJ Dillon duo in Green Bay officially.
I think
Uh
that makes more sense than Aaron Jones.
yeah, it does. It does. Um, let's see. Hollywood Brown is going to be signing with the Kansas City Chiefs after Andy Reid pulled some emojis in his recruiting text. I thought that was very playful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Honestly, a steal too. I mean, basically, if you look at it, they cut MVS, used that money that they saved on MVS to go get Hollywood Brown, who, huge
He's
upgrade.
clearly better.
MVS made a ton
Yeah.
of huge plays for them. Um, didn't really put up the numbers because he was just kind of one of those guys on the field you just always kind of forgot about. And Andy Reid would always find some 40, 50-yard play for him to get him a touchdown.
Yeah. I'm excited to see the combo of Rishi Rice and Hollywood.
Yeah, I think it's a good combo. I think Rashid Rice is going to have a very good season this year. I think that he showed a lot last season. Didn't do a ton in the Super Bowl, um, but I think now that there's going to be another receiver that the opposing teams have to worry about, it's going to leave Rice a lot more open, and we're going to see him get some good numbers this year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we talked about Keenan Allen. The Chargers wanted him to take a pay cut, and that's ultimately what ended up being the reason he got traded. Um, I don't know how you only get a fourth round pick out of him, especially him coming off his best year or season of his career.
Yeah, that it blew me away.
Yeah, and Justin Herbert cannot be happy about that at all.
No, like I said, he's got nobody.
Yeah, literally nobody, nobody at all. Um, he lost Everett too, Gerald Everett.
Gone.
Yeah, he's gone. And then the Browns, last move that I wanted to talk about, Browns missed out on Jerome Baker. I was pissed because he ended up not signing for that much either with the Seattle Seahawks. I
Yeah.
was pissed because
Trying to bring this boy home.
I wanted to bring him home. Um, and you know, I thought we had the money to go after him. especially since we restructured Jerry Jeudy already and saved about $10 million for the season's cap space. I thought that was a no-brainer to go after him, and he was even liking tweets that he wanted to come home, and
Mm-hmm.
we had the fake report that he was signing with the Browns, and everyone bought into it for a second, and that shit got shut down real quick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely a blue ball moment.
Big blue balls.
Yes. Um, well, that's gonna do it for NFL free agency. Um, so we're gonna go ahead and move into some basketball. Before we get into March Madness, though, um, I wanted to bring this up last episode, but we were recording so late last time we were recording. There was a question that a buddy of mine, Grant, brought up on Twitter, that was getting some pretty good conversations out of it, and I think some good debate. But I'm curious on what your opinion is on this. Um, so for the Cleveland Cavaliers, do you think Kevin Love deserves to have his jersey retired with the Cavs?
I think at the end of the day, of that team, you could put LeBron, Kyrie, and Kevin on a pedestal and say, this was the big three that did it. I 100% stand by LeBron. I 85% stand by Kyrie. Kevin Love, I mean, he's done a lot for the community. He was with us for many, many years. Um, I don't necessarily think his number needs retired. I mean, if they're just looking to do it with for somebody down the road after they've done LeBron and Kyrie, maybe. But I mean, if they gave it to Z, I mean, they could definitely give it to Kevin Love. But first things first, you got to get LeBron and Kyrie off the books.
Yeah. So my argument is with this. I would back if someone said yes to this, and I'm not against them saying yes, then I would also ask them, does Tristan Thompson deserve to have his jersey retired?
No.
I don't think so either. Because everyone's excuse is, oh, he was a huge part of that 2016 finals team, which Tristan Thompson was. I mean, Tristan Thompson was getting all the rebounds for us. Um,
Mm-hmm.
just the honestly alone, and this shouldn't necessarily be the reason why he gets his jersey retired, but for this reason alone, I'm perfectly fine with getting Kevin Love, um, getting his jersey retired. Is the defense that he finally played on Steph Curry, which was amazing defense for a big man playing on a guard on the perimeter, especially someone like Steph Curry. Um, and in all honesty, he did not play that bad in the finals that year, at least. Um, but other than that, I just wanted to bring that up real quick. Shout out to Grant at Talking the Point podcast. Um, Dylan, are you ready to talk about our new bet for the 2024-2025 NFL season? Because I'm ready to announce my team.
Oh, you want to do that now? You want to do that now?
When do you want to do it? Do you want to do it? Net, when were you thinking on doing it? Because I'm ready to say my team now.
I was gonna hopefully save that for the summertime, but I just had thought about it.
Do you want to save it?
Yes, because I want to
All
see
right.
how the draft shakes out too.
All right. All right. I respect that. I respect that. Just know
As
I know
much as
what
I
team I'm going for.
as much as I want to get locked into a team right this second, I'm also afraid to get locked into this team at this very second. So I just want to see how the draft plays out. But we'll announce the bet. Let's
All right.
just say
Yeah, we'll put a date on it. How about that?
before training camp and after the draft, Let me see. So let's see. Let's find a random Monday, random Tuesday. Let's do June 3rd or 4th
Okay, yeah, we'll do it right after my birthday. That sounds great
because
to me.
we'll be talking about NBA Finals, and then it was about the same exact time last year when we talked about the steak dinner bet
Okay,
because we talked about that with Jokic winning the finals.
right. Okay.
So, June 3rd or June 4th, whatever day that ends up being that we record on, we'll announce our bet.
Yeah, and that gives us time to kind of come up with an agreement on what the winner gets on that as well.
Did you
Uh,
um
Go ahead.
do you get to watch a lot of the championship games today?
Not so much today. I saw yesterday, I watched a little bit of action. I bet Kent State money line. Didn't go too crazy on it, but I just felt like they were going to repeat, and I liked that they were coming in as the underdogs, especially taking um, Toledo down, who was supposed to be a powerhouse and make a run in the
Yeah.
bracket this year. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't believe they made it. No, they didn't make it.
Did you happen to see that video about that kid from Grand Canyon getting shoulder checked and the ball thrown at him after he dunked it with like 2 seconds left in the game?
No, I didn't hear about that.
So Grand Canyon was up by 10 points, and they're playing the University of Texas Arlington, and they basically got the rebound on the last shot, and they threw it down the court. And Colin Moore from Grand Canyon did a windmill dunk with 2 seconds left, and he was running down the court to celebrate. And one of the other players from the other team shoulder checked him, and then another player threw a ball at him across the court. It caused a little scuffle at the end of the game.
Oh, geez.
I mean,
Uh, did you
you
see the
shouldn't be running up the
video?
score, but
Did you see the video of is it Duquesne,
Duquesne,
Duquesne, um, versus VCU when they accidentally dropped the confetti with 17 minutes left in the second half?
yeah,
I'm not
that
gonna
was
lie, I was so
wild.
tempted to just bet VCU money line right then and there. That would piss me off so bad. Um,
Yeah,
they
but
ended
they
up
ended up
winning by
winning.
6. Yeah, by 6. Um, which thank God
We
because
kind of
they
had a
actually
doozy
got
today. So
outscored the
I
second
told
half.
we had a doozy today. We watched the Illinois Wisconsin game, and I was very certain that Wisconsin was going to win for some reason. And I didn't advise anybody to bet on it, but my cousin put $100 on Wisconsin money line. And at some point, he wanted to hedge because he was like, "Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know." I was like, "Just write it out, write it out, write it out." The odds weren't even that great. It was like plus 185 or something. So he was really just doubling his money. He ends up losing the bet, obviously, because Illinois won. He's pissed, and it's all quiet. And all of a sudden, he goes, "All right, well, let's turn on the next game." I'm like, "There is no more games. What are you talking about?" He goes, "The Nuggets game. I just put 50 on the Nuggets." And I'm like, "Why?" I looked at my phone, and they're down 7 with 3 minutes to go in the game. It was like plus 800 odds. I was like, he goes, "I gotta make my money back." I was like, "Dude, no."
Oh no.
But then we were all sitting there sweating it because the Nuggets ended up coming back and tying the game. And he was like, "All right, I can cash out now and make $50 and make the money back that I lost. Or we can ride it at $450." And we were really thinking about it. And I go, "All right, pull out this time." Because I told him not to pull out the last one and we lost. So I told him to pull out. So he ended up winning like 200, but he won 50 because he had to make his 100 back that he lost. And then the Dallas Mavericks ended up beating the Nuggets on a game-winning left-handed hook shot by Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, that game winner
So
was crazy.
so we were right to hedge because he would have lost another 50.
Yeah,
But I was like, no, don't do that. Why would you? They weren't, I mean, they're down 7 with 3 minutes. I was like, I don't know if that's the right call.
yeah,
And it's at Dallas with Dirk in the building and Patrick Mahomes in the building.
yeah.
I don't know. I was like, there is no way Luca and Kyrie were losing that game.
Right. Yeah, I didn't have too many bets this weekend. I did bet Kent State. Actually, funny enough, both bets this weekend I bet Kent State money line. Um, Basically took my small bet, won that against Toledo, and then threw it against Akron and canceled out. So broke even for the weekend. Um,
It's good.
Way of the road. Um,
I, I still haven't bet since the Super Bowl.
since the Super Bowl.
Hmm.
Yeah, understandable. We're in March Madness though now, so it's time to get your brackets looking pretty. And you know what?
Yep.
We're gonna start reading off who made the bracket, who's in the first four. Um, we'll probably do another episode sometime this week on, or at least a little bit before, um, the bracket actually starts going on, who our winners are going to be. Because I'm one of those guys, I like to see the first four play out because you already know one of those teams is already going to win. I have a gut feeling one of these teams is definitely going to win this year. Not the whole bracket, but win a game. Um, and I have a very good feeling it's going to be Colorado beating, where is it at? Florida. Florida ended up losing the SEC championship today against Auburn. Um,
Yeah.
and Colorado has some NBA talent on it. So I think that's going to be a good matchup. But we'll go ahead and I'll just start naming the East, what the bracket is going to be looking like. Our first matchup is going to be UConn at the number 1 seed facing off the 16 seed Stetson. Um, I don't recall seeing Stetson ever being in the bracket. I don't know if this is their first year ever doing so, um, but it's the first time I can recall seeing them on it. Um, then next we have Florida Atlantic at the 8 seed facing off against the 9 seed Northwestern. Um, 5 seed San Diego State going up against UAB, the 12 seed. 4 seed Auburn going against 13 seed Yale, which if I'm not mistaken, they won on a game winner today, correct? Did you see that at all? Or did you not?
What?
Yale?
I completely missed everything you just said.
Oh, um, what did you hear me talk about last? Because I saw that it just lagged really bad for a minute.
Yeah, I couldn't even
Did you hear
tell
me
you.
talk about Northwestern or Florida Atlantic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mentioned San Diego State going up against UAB, and then Auburn versus Yale. Yale won on a game winner today, if I'm not mistaken, against Brown.
I didn't get to see that one.
Yeah, I was really pissed because I really wanted Princeton to make this tournament just because I thought they had the team to do it. Um, and they made it far last year. I was 100% going to pick them for an upset this year. Um, so I'm kind of hoping Yale loses, but don't be shocked if Yale beats Auburn. I'm not sure if I'm going to pick them to beat Auburn yet,
That'd
but
be
I won't be surprised. Uh, we have BYU at the 6th seed. Um, how did you pronounce that school's name again? That played VCU today.
Oh, Duquesne.
Duquesne.
They're out of
Um,
Pittsburgh.
okay. I knew they were somewhat close, but, and I always see them on social media, but so BYU is going to be playing Duquesne at March 21st. Then we have the number 3 seed Illinois going against Morehead State, which if you remember, Morehead State was um, a big upset a couple of years ago, and I believe they won last year around. Um, Washington State was the 7th seed, and they're going to go against Drake. We're not talking about Champagne Poppy. And then the number 2 seed, Iowa State, going against the number 15 seed, South Dakota State. Um, Now, Dylan, I was really hoping that somehow, some way, Ohio State was going to make it out of the bubble, and I
I knew
knew
they
it was
wouldn't.
going to be them, having to beat Illinois. Um, I still think that if they beat Illinois in the Big Ten tournament, that they make this bracket somehow, some way.
Yeah.
Um, but I at least like the way that we ended the season, considering how the beginning of the season looked, and it was the worst Ohio State basketball program I had ever seen in my life. And now it's confirmed that we're going to be bringing on Diebler for our permanent head coach going forward. 'Cause, I mean, how do you fire your head coach in your very next game? You beat, what was it, number 1 Purdue at the time or number 2?
I think they were one at the time.
Yeah, and you just go in and you knock them out.
Did you happen to see that Michigan fired Juwan Howard?
Yeah, that one was inevitable. That they spent a lot of money on their program, and it
Hmm.
got nowhere this year. They looked horrible.
Purdue was number 2 at the time.
Yeah, that's what I couldn't remember if they were 1 or 2 at the time when Ohio State beat them. Um, but anyways, let's go ahead and get into the West. I love how this is called the West, even though some of these colleges are 100% on the East. Like North Carolina, you can't really get too much more east than that. They're the number 1 seed, and they'll face up against the 16 seed. It'll be the winner between Howard and Wagner. Um, 8 seed is going to be Mississippi State going up against Michigan State, 9 seed. The 5th seed is St. Mary's going against 12 seed Grand Canyon. Then we got 4 seed Alabama going against 13 seed Charleston. 6 seed, we got Clemson going against 11, New Mexico. Then we got 3 Baylor going against 14 Colgate. 7 Dayton going against 10 Nevada. And then number 2 Arizona going against Long Beach State. Um, One thing that I do know is I used to go heavy on Arizona, and I'm not gonna do that again this year. I'm gonna fade them hard this year. I don't know if I'm gonna have them losing the first round, but second round bounce between either Dayton or Nevada, I don't put that out of the picture.
Interesting.
Um, then we'll go ahead and get into the South. We have number 1 Houston going against 16 Longwood. Number 8 Nebraska going against Texas A&M at number 9. Wisconsin sneaking into the bracket with the number 5 seed going against James Madison as the number 12 seed. So we got a Big Cat and PFT matchup in this first round of the
Yeah.
March Madness bracket. So that's going to be fun to hear on Pardon My Take.
Yeah.
We got number 4 Duke going against number 13 Vermont. Number 6 Texas Tech going against NC State. Number 3 Kentucky going against Oakland, the Horizon League champion, at number 14 seed. Um, the number 7 Florida team going against the winner of Boise State and Colorado, which I told you I think Colorado will probably win that game. Just want to do a little bit more research before I make that final, but I just have a gut feeling about Colorado. Number 2 Marquette going against number 15 Western Kentucky. And Western Kentucky, if I'm not mistaken, did not play that bad this year. Granted, to be on this bracket in the first place, you got to be playing pretty solid for the most part.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that could be a good matchup right there. And then to finish things up, we got the Midwest side of the bracket. We got number 1 seed Purdue going against the winner of Montana State and Grambling for the 16th seed. You got Utah State with the 8th seed going against TCU for the 9 seed. Number 5 Gonzaga going against number 12 seed McNeese, which I've never heard of before. Kansas with the 4 seed going against Samford at the 13 seed. South Carolina with the 6 seed going against Oregon with the 11th. Creighton with the 3 seed going against Akron with the 14th seed. I know Alex Hale is going to be going crazy on that one. You got the 7th seed Texas going against the winner of Virginia and Colorado State, which it's weird seeing Virginia in the first 4.
Yep.
So that's going to be interesting to see the winner of that matchup. I want to definitely pay close attention to that. And then you got the number 2 seed Tennessee going against number 15 St. Peter's. And that is what our March Madness bracket is going to be looking like. Any thoughts before we close out this episode?
No, I'm excited for the madness. It's already been madness and the tournament hasn't even started yet. Going to be making my bracket this week at some point. Obviously, we have until what, Thursday?
Yeah.
So get that knocked out. Really just can't wait for some basketball, some late nights, some long days of basketball. But if you're going to be gambling, make sure you gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-GAMBLER if you got any problems.
All right. Until next time, guys, make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoyed this episode. Until next time, we'll be coming back with our March Madness predictions. Love you guys.
Peace.